Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be solving the equation x to the power of x to the power of 3 is equal to 729. So, to solve this, what I'm first going to do is take the power of 3 on both sides. So I get x to the power of x to the power of 3 to the power of 3 is equal to 729 to the power of 3. Now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m to the power of n, this is the same thing as a to the power of m times n. Now, m times n, I can also rewrite as n times m. And if something in the form a to the power of m to the power of n is equal to a to the power of m times n, then a to the power of n times m should also equal to a to the power of n to the power of n. So in simpler terms, a to the power of m to the power of n is equal to a to the power of n to the power of n. So now from here, I have x to the power of x to the power of 3 to the power of 3, and I can think of x to the power of 3 as m and 3 as n. So if I switch the places of these two, I get x to the power of 3 to the power of x to the power of 3. And remember, this is equal to 729 to the power of 3. Now, from here, I'm going to let x to the power of 3 equal to the variable y. So I get y to the power of y is equal to 729 to the power of 3. Now, I can simplify 729 to the power of 3. So 729 is the same thing as, 729, let's find some factors of this. So a factor of 729, let's try to divide this by 3. 729 divided by 3, we have 2 over here, so we get 6. We subtract 7 with 6, we get 1. We bring that to 2. 3 times 4 is 12. And now we bring that to 9. 3 times 3 is 9. So I get 729 is equal to 243 times 3. Now, 243, if I divide this by 3, I get 81. So I have this times 3 times 81, or sorry, I have 3 times 3 times 81, and 81 is the same thing as 3 to the power of 4. So I have 3 times 3 times 3 to the power of 4, which is equal to 3 to the power of 6, meaning 729 is the same thing as 3 to the power of 6. And 3 to the power of 6, I can break that down into 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 squared, which is equal to 9 to the power of 3. So I'm going to replace 9 to the power of 3 with 729. So I get y to the power of y is equal to 9 to the power of 3 to the power of 3. And the reason I did this is because 9 to the power of 3 to the power of 3 is the same thing as 9 to the power of 3 times 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. So I get y to the power of y is equal to 9 to the power of 9. And now I can use the property a to the power of a is equal to, if a to the power of a is equal to b to the power of b, this means that a equals b. So in this case, y is equal to 9. Now, recall how I let x to the power of 3 equal to y. Meaning, I get x to the power of 3 is equal to 9. So now to solve this, I'm going to take the cube root on both sides. So I get the cube root of x to the power of 3 is equal to the cube root of 9. Now the cube root of x to the power of 3 is simply just x. So I get x is equal to the cube root of 9. And this is the same thing as 9 to the power of 1/3. Alright, so for this video, I'm going to be solving the equation x to the power of 4 is equal to negative 9. So what I'm first going to do is add 9 on both sides. So then these two cancel out, and I get x to the power of 4 plus 9 is equal to 0. Now from here, I can rewrite x to the power of 4 as x squared to the power of 2, and I can rewrite 9 as 3 squared. And if I have something in the form a plus b squared, this is equal to a squared plus b squared plus 2ab. And if I have something in the form a squared plus b squared, then this must mean that this is going to equal a plus b squared minus 2ab, because this is the same thing as this without the 2ab. So this means that a is equal to x squared and b is 3. Going back over here, so I get x squared to the power of 2 plus 3 squared is equal to x squared plus 3 squared. And this turns into x squared to the power of 2 plus 3 squared is equal to x squared plus 3 squared minus 2 times x squared times 3 is equal to 0. So now from here, I get x squared plus 3 squared minus 6x squared is equal to 0. And remember how the square root of 6 squared is equal to 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this as x squared plus 3 squared minus the square root of 6x squared is equal to 0. And the reason I did that is because now I can use the property a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So in this case, this turns into x squared plus 3 plus the square root of 6x times x squared plus 3 minus the square root of 6x is equal to 0. So this gives me two equations. I have x squared plus 3 plus the square root of 6x is equal to 0, and x squared plus 3 minus the square root of 6x equals 0. So for both of these, because both of these are quadratic equations, you can use the quadratic formula to solve them. So by using the quadratic formula, I'm actually not going to do that in the video, but you can try that yourself. You should get that x is equal to the square root of 6 times negative 1 plus I over 2, and x is also equal to the square root of 6 times negative 1 minus I over 2. And also, along with this, you should get x is equal to the square root of 6 times I plus 1 over 2, and x is equal to the square root of 6 times times 1 minus I over 2. So these are your four solutions.